the first season, we see your characters go from playing versions of themselves that the world wants to see them as to their authentic selves. And one of the benefits of television as a medium is the opportunity to build on these stories. As you headed into season 2, what were you most excited about further exploring with each of your characters?
Wow, that's such a great question. I think in season one, Bronwyn and Nate were very sort of, at least for Nate, he was very fearful to like dive into something where he felt something or broke down
Mhm.
walls.
Being vulnerable.
Being vulnerable, yeah. And it's foreign for him, and I think that like using film and TV as a medium to do that, it's almost like a therapy session really to like come to set and be able to like embrace like vulnerability and explore that side of myself and Nate and do it through Nate, which is like really 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 cool. And I think I'm just very excited for people to see. And what I was excited about is just exploring the Bronwyn and Nate dynamic and their relationship and sort of like deepening that love and working through conflict and complications that they do have and embracing that vulnerability and the I guess the soft side of him.
Yeah, that's what and he did.
And he did.
He explored it. I think for me, Bronwyn is way more free in her journey in season two, and
Yeah.
that was fun to play with because of that. Because I feel like I could be more free within her skin and be a little bit more unpredictable and less in control about the whole thing. She's very much by the book, season one, and then she's forced to um, break that sort of box that she's made for herself and her family has made for her too. So that was my favorite thing to explore with her. It was like freedom.
Yeah, perfect segue with this next question. But like you were just saying, throughout the first season, Bronwyn is very much trying to hold everything together. In season 2, there's more freedom. She's exploring her vulnerabilities, which you bring so much depth to as an actress. How did that preparation change heading from season 1 into season 2? And how do you create the space for yourself to dive into that arc?
I think it all starts with the writing. So props to the writers because then it brings on the challenge as an actor of like, oh my God, these are like hectic situations to say the least. And just trying to give myself the space to really, really feel what it's like to be in her shoes in those particular moments. And then also being led by really great directors. I think that I credit Michael Weaver a lot, episode 1 and 2 director, who's also the directing producing this season, because he would not move on until he had something. He was so efficient. Like I remember my first impression of him was like, oh my God, he moves on so quick in certain scenes. But when he has to get something out of a scene, he will not move on from that scene until, the scene is at a very real high stakes place. And he really established that from the beginning of the season and would create like a safe space where we could do so and focus on it. So it's a team effort really. And thank you for saying that because it does take a village, and I just try and do my part of the thing, just like learn my lines and prep and be accessible as a human to give life to this character.
Beautifully said. Cooper, this project came to you when you were uncertain about your acting career and how it was going to pan out. What has it meant for you to see the response not only on social media to your character and the show? What have you also learned about yourself and your craft playing Nate?
Oh, that's a great question. I think there is always going to be like an uncertainty in this career. I think it's
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's very like it can be very inconsistent, and there's a lot of times where you have to be. What I've learned, you have to be okay with just relaxing and chilling and knowing that the next project will come and it will come across. And so there was definitely uncertainty coming into it. And I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to be able to like play Nate, and props to like Karen McManus who wrote such a like wonderful story, and everyone else on board. And I think I've learned a lot about myself through Nate. I think I've learned to sort of break down walls and try to always be honest and live out my truth and be authentic to myself whenever I can. And I think he's doing the same thing. And it's kind of like you can draw a lot of parallels between my life and Nate. And so, yeah, that's what I'd say about it.
Yeah, another great answer. And then your characters left audiences heartbroken at the end of season 1. What can you tease about what's ahead for this fan favorite relationship in season 2?
There's a lot of push and pull between the characters, and they definitely. I don't know. I guess you got to wait and see. There's a lot more tension and friction and working through conflict, and
it'll definitely keep you on your toes more.
Yeah.
I got one final question for the two of you. The last time we spoke, we talked ahead of the premiere of the season. Now that the first season is available on Peacock, what was your favorite scene to film in season 1, and what was the most challenging?
There are so many favorites.
In season 1?
Season 1.
Yeah.
I really loved episode 6, the homecoming episode overall. I think some of my favorite scenes were in that episode because there was just this mood of like, like it's a dance where everybody's looking like nice and like dressed up. And like at that point in the story, the stakes were getting higher. And then we finally see Bronwyn and Nate kiss for the first time and kind of like give into the feelings that they have for one another. And then any scenes that I have with Melissa, who plays May, I also love.
Great answer. I would say one of my most favorite scenes from season 1 was like in the pilot where Nate comes over to Bronwyn's house and they kind of have a discussion about Simon's laptop and Nate kind of knows that like she took it, and that day shooting that we actually had to reshoot it. We shot that scene in the pilot and then we came back and props to John Scott for being like a great director and just allowing us to feel the scene out and explore it. And I think like still to this day, I feel like that's one of my most favorite scenes in all of season 1 and season 2. And it was probably one of the first days back for season 1 as well.
Yeah.
I just think that scene had all these different sort of levels of intensity and chemistry. And that was just a great scene to like work with you. And like it just flowed. It didn't even feel like the cameras were there. It was so fun.